Forget bank heists or dramatic accidents. One of the weirdest car crashes in history was caused by something that hasn't changed since the formation of our solar system. It was a Friday night, October 9th, 1992, in Peekskill, New York. A family was watching television when their quiet suburban evening was interrupted with a noise like a bomb. When they looked outside, they found that their 1980 Chevy Malibu was ruined, punctured, and totaled by a 12-kilogram chunk of rock that was traveling at 37,000 miles per hour. This isn't the story of a cosmic accident, it's the story of the Peekskill Meteorite, the most documented, most filmed, and most valuable space rock to ever strike a car. Before the physical impact, there was a spectacular celestial show. At around 7:48 that evening, the space rock, which had been orbiting the sun in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, plunged into the Earth's atmosphere. Traveling at immense speed, estimates place its velocity on somewhere around 9 miles per second, it created a breathtaking, burning streak of visible light across an astonishingly wide area. Witnesses reported the fiery spectacle from as far south as Pennsylvania and as far north as Connecticut, passing over Ohio, West Virginia, and eventually heading towards New York. This was no faint shooting star. This was a massive glowing fireball, brighter than the full moon, casting strange shadows across the landscape below. It was terrifying and memorizing to watch, leaving a trail of smoke and sonic booms in its wake. Crucially, because the event took place on a Friday night in a heavily populated corridor of the country, and because of its brightness and duration, dozens of amateur photographers were recording. Many happened to be at the high school football games on a Friday night, capturing the meteor inadvertently in the background. Others filmed it intentionally as it streaked across the sky. These videos, which documented the meteor's trajectory and appearance from multiple geographically distinct vantage points, were invaluable. They allowed scientists to calculate the meteorite's path through the atmosphere, and incredibly, they were able to trace its orbit back to the asteroid belt, a feat that's rarely possible with typical meteorite finds. As the meteorite dropped lower, the friction with the air caused it to fracture violently. The tremendous pressure caused the rock to explode into several pieces high above the ground, producing a massive sonic boom that shook houses and rattled windows across the region. While many fragments were scattered, one primary mass held its integrity long enough to continue its trajectory towards the ground. And that happened to belong to the Knapps of Peekskill, New York. Marilyn and Joseph were inside their home, situated on a quiet, suburban street, just watching television. The evening was quiet until the air was pierced by a sound that Marilyn later described as the loudest thing she had ever heard. A deep, resonant thud combined with the shattering of glass and ripping of metal. It wasn't a distinct rumble of the initial sonic boom, it was a localized, violent noise. Upon investigating, the Knapps found the garage door was damaged and their beloved, slightly battered 1980 Chevy Malibu in a state of wreckage. The car was parked outside, and resting inside the trunk was the culprit, a warm, dark, fusion-crusted rock. The impact was surgical and devastating. The piece of space rock had punched straight through the car's rear quarter panel, penetrated the trunk, smashed through the spare tire, and eventually came to rest against the wheel well, generating a distinctive smell of sulfur and burnt powder. The hole in the car was ragged and precise, a clear indication of a high-velocity impact. The meteorite itself was recovered shortly thereafter. It weighed about 12.4 kilograms, or 27 pounds, and was approximately the size of a bowling ball. It was a dense, black, and hot to the touch, still emitting a slight warmth from its fiery passage through the atmosphere. The fusion crust, a thin, glassy layer formed by the intense heat of the atmosphere, was still pristine. Scientifically, the Peekskill meteorite fall was an astronomical jackpot. It was immediately classified as an H5 chondrite, a common type of stony meteorite rich in iron. However, it's because its value is not in its mineral composition, but in its documentation. Because scientists possess multiple videos and radar recordings tracking its entry, they could definitively link a known object from space to a physical sample on Earth. This allowed for unprecedented discovery and study of how meteorites react to entry into our atmosphere, and it also provided precise data on its origin within the solar system. The odds of a specific object from space hitting a specific object on Earth are almost, 1 in a million, 1 in, 10 million. The Earth is vast, and the targets are so minuscule. For this meteorite to not only strike the Earth in a populated area, but to also hit a man-made structure, specifically a car, made it an instant legend. Most recovered meteorites fall into oceans or remote deserts, making the circumstances of the Peekskill fall truly unique. The immediate aftermath involved a flurry of scientific attention, media coverage, and inevitably a commercial frenzy. The 1980 Chevy Malibu, affectionately dubbed the Peekskill Meteorite car, became an instant cultural relic. While the Knapp family initially considered repairing the vehicle, its unique status as a cosmic accident rendered it far more valuable as a damaged artifact. The car was eventually purchased by a meteorite dealer to display. It spent the next decade at several mineral shows, museums, and science exhibits around the world, often accompanied by the meteorite itself, a testament to the random power of space. The meteorite fragment itself was broken into several pieces for research and commercial purposes, but the main mass became one of the most famous specimens in private collections. Its value was astronomical, not just due to its mass, but because of the indisputable provenance and sheer drama of its arrival. Pieces of the Peekskill meteorite are sought after by collectors worldwide. The Peekskill event remains a powerful reminder of our cosmic neighborhood. It highlights the fact that while impacts are rare, they are not impossible, and they can happen anywhere at any time. The image of the drab, damaged Chevy Malibu, pierced by a rock older than the dinosaurs, serves as the most vivid illustration of this reality. It was a celestial warning shot, ending a journey of millions of years with a crash in a driveway in suburban New York. If you like this story today, subscribe to the Daily Pastcast and like this video, and come back to our channel every day for new and interesting stories of what happened on this day in history.